Welcome into KSU Nation, the best K-State and Big 12 YouTube out there. I'm Stevie B.
And I'm Kenny G.
And in today's episode, we're going to be breaking down K-State versus Arizona State and doing our Big 12 Week 12 picks. Kenny, let them know about the subscribe button.
Yo, guys, guess what? There's a subscribe button now on YouTube, and all you got to do is click it. If you're watching this, somehow it got popped up on your algorithm, or I don't know how you came across this video. We live in a crazy world. Sometimes things just happen. But what would be cool is if you continued to watch us, not just after this video, but the next video and the next video after that. We've got a lot of really exciting videos coming out, not in the very, very, very near future, but in the near future. Within a couple months, we'll be putting out some really fun videos that Steve and I have been kind of bouncing back and forth with. But until then, the way that you can make sure that you don't miss out on these videos is to hit that subscribe button. Do it.
Do it.
Just do it. Make your dreams come true.
We are really close to 1,000 subs. I cannot believe we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. As of this recording, this live stream, we're 126 subs away. So if you guys can help us get there to get to full monetization, please click the subscribe button below. Tell your friends, tell your family members, tell your coworkers, brothers, sisters, all of that to subscribe to KSU Nation. Kenny, we had a pretty big game this weekend. Number 19, K-State, 7-2 versus 7-2 Arizona State. One team is not looking the best right now. Another team is really looking a lot better than a lot of their fans had projected them to be. Kenny, what are your initial thoughts on K-State and Avery Johnson versus Arizona State this weekend at Bill Snyder Family Stadium?
We got to get this win. We have got to get this win. Look, K-State can't afford any more mistakes. We have to win out the season. I hope that we do it decisively. I'll be honest with you, Steve. My confidence is not where it once was a few weeks ago. I said, you know what? We had a tough game on the road against Colorado. That was close. We had a tough game against Tulane. That was close. We had, unfortunate game against the team of destiny. And then we had a really close game against our in-state rivals who seem to be finding their way. But I thought, none of that's going to matter because we're going to go into Houston and we're going to prove that we deserve to be amongst the top of the table. But what did we do, Steve? We literally took a 12-gauge shotgun and aimed it right at our foot and pulled the trigger. We shot our foot completely off. Now the control of our destiny is not in our hands anymore. We need a little help from Colorado's team to get a loss in order to have our chances of getting to the Big 12 championship. Now, of course, there's more to it than just Colorado losing. We have to also take care of business, and that starts with this Saturday going against Arizona State Sun Devils, who are also having quite the exciting year. I mean, no one expected this, like you just said. Their own fan base didn't expect this, and for them to come in and have a performance like they've been doing, you can't count them out. Now we'll get into it, Steve, but what are your initial thoughts before we get super deep into this?
So K-State's favored by 9 points, and we'll get into the stats and breakdown and all of that. What I will say is that K-State typically responds in a pretty big way following losses. I don't think K-State's lost 2 in a row since the 2021 season. The last time K-State lost earlier this season, they came out and won by 3 touchdowns. And honestly, it was 4 until Oklahoma State scored 1 touchdown with like a minute left in the game. So K-State usually responds in a big way. Arizona State is a way better football team than Oklahoma State was. It really did sting that K-State lost at Houston. Let's be honest. It stung. Chris Kleiman talked about how everyone thought they were going to win. So if the coaches were thinking that, then obviously the players are thinking it, and obviously the fans thought that. The only people that didn't think that was Houston. Houston thought they were going to win the game, and they did. So this is the biggest game on the schedule because it's a next game. Now, K-State is not going to make the Big 12 championship game unless they go undefeated and they get some help. So the most important game on the schedule is this Saturday's game, and you and I talked about it beforehand. It looks like Cam Scadaboo is questionable. They did not have him this past weekend when they beat UCF 35-31. They won by 4, but they had a pick 6 in the game. UCF is either really good or really bad. So I don't know what to take from that. Both K-State and Arizona State have both beaten KU. There's really not been that many common opponents. K-State has by far the toughest schedule of anyone in the Big 12. They're playing every other top 6 team. And usually all of those are away. Thankfully, this is a home game. K-State is undefeated at home. K-State's favored by 9, like I said earlier. I don't see that. I don't understand why K-State's favored by that much, but typically K-State wins big. So I don't know what to think about this game, especially not knowing the status of Cam Scadaboo. I do think K-State's going to win, but it's going to be a really, really, really tough game. Ken Dillingham, I think is his name, head coach at Arizona State, is a pretty good football coach. Got him playing pretty well. Offense and defense, they're way ahead of schedule. I'm looking forward to this game because Kenny, you and I are both going to be at the game on Saturday, right?
That's right. Yeah, this is the Army Day game.
Fort Riley Day.
Fort Riley Day, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I mean it's in remembrance of Veterans Day, which was yesterday.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to all the veterans. Thank you guys for your service to allow us to get on here and rant about Big 12 football in KSU Nation. We could not do this without your service, so I just want to give a quick shout out to them. My dad was actually in the military for 22 years. So, and I have press box seats for him and his buddy that was also serving with him. They're really good friends, or best friends, and they're both going to be at the game. I got them press box seats. Pretty excited about it. Just to touch on the actual quote from the Arizona State head coach, Ken Dillingham. By the way, best first name in the world. He goes, I think he's going to try to practice at least jog through some things or run around a little bit tomorrow. So that's positive. He said that he was trying to get him to put him in the game in the middle of the third quarter, even though if he was cleared. I want to make sure that we're going to get the best version of Cam if he does go out there and feels good about himself. So as people know, like this is kind of a big deal. Cam Scadaboo, looking at some of his stats right here, he is ranked 10th in the nation with 1,001 rushing yards in 8 games played. And he is second in all-purpose yards, only trailing Boise State's Ashton Jeanty. That's pretty impressive. That's really impressive. He's kind of a big deal.
He's a big running back. He reminds me a lot of Toby Gerhart. He can receive the ball too, man. He's a good player. Based off what you just said, I fully expect him to play. I do. I mean, if he's trying to get put into the game last week and he's doing something this week, I fully expect him to play. So.
Yeah, he said that he just wants to hit on the fact that it all comes down to how comfortable he's feeling. Now, regardless, if he's questionable to play, that is going to mean that he is most likely, I mean, we know this right off the bat, that he's not going to be 100%. So we're not going to be getting 100% of what Cam can do, but we'll see what happens. Like you said, Steve, K-State is not a team to be overlooking, especially when you're at the Bill. The Bill is going to be hopping. But
fans are pissed. You know the team.
You wouldn't have guessed that they would be hopping based off of the coach's energy in the press conference.
That was super weird, dude. But I get it also at the same time because there's something going on with Chris Kleiman's family. The energy was not there. I know he's going through something. But typically whatever the coaches are feeling, the players are kind of going through it at the same time together as well. Right. I don't know, man. I would have rather K-State have played last weekend than taking time off. We know Chris Kleiman's record after a bye is not great, but maybe K-State's been pissed off for the last 2 weeks, and hopefully they can take it out in Arizona State, man.
Yeah, one of the things that I needed to make sure K-State. Oh, here we go. Look at this. We'll go over some comments later, but yes, we are definitely okay. We're fine.
Yep.
This is the Big 12. All right, but this is nothing new. K-State is always going to be that solid top of the table team. We don't ever claim that we're going to run the table like Utah. We don't ever think that we're like the best team in the conference. I mean, we think that we're amongst the better teams in the conference. We always put up a fight. Usually, at least it's been the case. But as far as the rest of this season goes, everything is still out in front of K-State for them to have. They just got to take care of business, finish strong. It's unfortunate that we lost against Houston, but anything can happen in the upcoming weeks. You know, things could change, and we could end up seeing a K-State in the Big 12 championship game going for a Big 12 title. We don't know yet. As far as the team's energy, I'm really hoping that they're going to come out pissed off, like you said, Steve. They need to play a physical game of football. We need to get back on that train of having a little bit of a chip on our shoulder, because the team that played against Houston was a tired, exhausted team, and you know they just need to come out firing away. And they're going to be going against an Arizona State team that is hyped this year, man. They've got a lot of momentum behind them. Their team is buying into the coach's vision here, and they're hitting it off, man. Like they're really firing away. But their record, you know, they lost against Texas Tech, and they lost against Cincinnati. I believe that K-State is better than both of those teams currently, even with the loss against Houston. But yeah, we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see if K-State actually shows up.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with everything you said. Let's get right into this breakdown here.
As you do that, let's see here. ASU will get the dub, says Blackout. Cam Scadaboo will go for 300 rushing yards. That is not going to happen. 100 receiving and 5 touchdowns. K-State will lose 56-3. Blackout, you must be on drugs.
He is obviously a Colorado fan, so he's
no. You could be a Colorado fan.
Bring the hate. Well, I mean, we deserve it. You know what I mean? We deserve it.
You can be a Colorado fan and not delusional at the same time.
True.
That's the same. That can actually happen. Ricky Fontaine. Hope I said your last name right. Your linebackers will need to be on point this game. Well,
we have pretty good linebackers.
We got pretty dang good linebackers, so that's not going to be a problem.
All
right, go ahead, Steve. I just wanted to throw those up there a little bit here.
Let's take a look at the stats breakdown here. All right, anything that is a lighter color means a team has an advantage. The darker color means they have a distinct advantage, a 50-spot difference. When looking at this, K-State definitely has the advantage basically all around. The only ways that K-State does not have the advantage is passing the ball, third down defense, and then in total offense as well. And then a turnover margin too. Arizona State's really been able to turn teams over and not turn it over themselves. When looking at our offense versus Arizona State's defense, Arizona State's defense is pretty stout. I'm not going to lie. They look a lot like Houston's defense in terms of the numbers. K-State's going to have to really figure out a way to get DJ Giddens going, man. He's not been able to do much the last couple games. They got to figure out a way to get him going and then also be balanced. We cannot turn over the ball. K-State is 0-2 when Avery Johnson and the offense has 2 or more turnovers in the game. K-State cannot turn it over. Connor Riley has got to figure out a way to get back into his bag, start calling some plays that are working. I still think K-State's going to be just fine on offense. They scored 19 points on the road against a defense very similar in a rainstorm when their minds were not in it. I fully expect K-State to do pretty well on offense. K-State has scored 29 or more in 12 consecutive home games. Kenny, what do you think when looking at the stats breakdown, specifically when looking at the offense?
Yeah, I would be I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little nervous about our offense going against anybody's defense at this point. Um, it seems to be the case that K-State forgot how to be dominant with rushing the football lately. It's tough, man. It's tough to. I mean, I know it says that we're 19th. I mean, we used to be top 10, right? We used to be top 10 in our rush offense. So, uh, it just looking at this, um, I'm not confident in our ability to be able to pass against this team. Um, not confident in it at all. So we're gonna have to be better on the ground. But I'm just I don't know. I don't know what to say here, Steve. It like the energy of the offense is really it's hard to talk about it because it seemed like we hit a huge roadblock against Houston. Um, the ability for the offensive line to be able to allow DJ to really pop off is not the case anymore. I don't know if that's DJ just the taxing of his body is really starting to take a hold of him, or if it's really this offensive line that's struggling. I think it's the latter. I think it's maybe a little bit of both, um, potentially. But either way, I mean, uh, the team that we saw at Houston, I'm really praying that that's not the team we see going into this game. I mean, even the team that went against KU. So the last couple games that K-State's played has not given me confidence in their ability to really score. So I'm just I will say this one thing that I do like here is that K-State is a little bit better when it comes to penalties. I really hope that they figure that shore that up even more for this game against Arizona State. But man, I see that we have an advantage, a very slight advantage in our scoring offense against them, but I don't know, man. This is going to be a tough game. This is definitely going to be a tough game. I know that Arizona State's offense or their head coach is more of an offensive minded coach. I think that's like he was like a offense specialist or he's a quarterback guru or something like that, right? If I'm not mistaken, somebody had mentioned that. He's a quarterback guru, so he maybe is going to have more to say about their offense versus us, but I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm kind of. It seems like Connor Riley hasn't given me confidence in his play calling. I mean, we saw that when they call the pass play when they shouldn't have. The plays that he is calling are very predictable. It seems like teams are able to scheme against us very quickly and effectively. It seems that teams are able to, if we come out firing away, they're able to, make adjustments, and shut us down late in the game. I don't know, man. I really hope that K-State during this off week figured something out, ignited some, new looks. I don't know. I really hope they come up with something different because what's been going on these last couple weeks has not looked good. Like you said, the last time K-State looked pretty good was against West Virginia, but since then we have been looking really shaky.
So to answer your question, yeah. So Ken Dillingham, former quarterbacks coach at Florida State, Oregon, Auburn, Memphis. He is, he's a quarterback and offensive guru for sure. I mean, they're a good football team. I mean, when I look at their season so far, both K-State and Arizona State has beaten KU. They won by 4. K-State won by 2. Both teams beat Oklahoma State by essentially the same score. They won 42-21. I think K-State won 42-20. The only other team that both have on the schedule is Cincinnati, BYU, and Arizona, but they've not played Arizona or BYU, and K-State has not played Cincinnati yet. So there's really not that many common opponents. I do think they're a very good football team. I think their quarterback is pretty good, Sam Levitt. But when looking at their defense, I mean, I have faith in K-State's offense to turn it around. I really do. I think Avery Johnson's a great player. I think DJ Giddens is one of the best running backs in the country. I'm going to call out the offensive line right now. You guys have got to play better. I understand teams are bringing up more people into the box, but these tight ends, even receivers and offensive line, you guys cannot miss blocks, because so many times K-State was one block away from breaking it, and they've not been doing their job. They just have not been. The last couple of games, they look like dog crap. They look like a tired team, and I'm tired of it. I really am. K-State's way better than they've played the last couple of weeks. Hopefully they can turn it around this week. I do have faith that K-State will do that. I mean, K-State scored 29 or more in 12 consecutive home games. Arizona State is allowing basically 33 points per game. On the road, this is how many points they've allowed on the road. They've allowed 28, 30, 24, 21. So they've actually been pretty decent on the road, but overall, I mean, they allowed 31 to UCF. They allowed 31 to KU. K-State allowed less than that. They lost at Texas Tech 30-22. They did lose at Cincinnati without their quarterback. I get that. But, man, I think K-State's offense will be okay as long as their heads are in it. And hopefully, I mean, based off of what I've seen from Avery Johnson in the press conferences, it looks like the whole team is really, like, taking it to him like, okay, these are a couple things we need to work on, and hopefully they've worked on that and gotten better, because they've got to play better. They just have to play better for sure.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's nothing more to really talk about on the offense. I mean,
no,
it's an indictment on the offensive line. Connor Riley needs to be better.
Yep.
Avery Johnson needs to start using his legs more.
Do not turn it over. Stop throwing it to the other team.
And stop turning it over. That's it.
Yep. O-line, I feel like, is the biggest part here. I feel like if the O-line is dominating on the ground, K-State's going to be good. Because if K-State can run the ball, that's going to open up the pass tremendously. That opens up the play action game. It opens up the RPO game. I mean, and I said it earlier this season, when K-State can run it and throw it, I don't know how you stop them. Well, K-State cannot throw it against really, K-State couldn't run it at all against Houston. So, moving on to the defense.
Right.
K-State has the advantage all around, honestly, outside of third down defense. K-State's got the advantage all around. If you can stop Arizona State's running game, I think you'll be okay. Now, I feel like Sam Levitt is a pretty good quarterback. He's passed for 300 yards in a game before. They're pretty good. But I have faith in K-State's linebackers. As someone said, you guys better have good linebackers. Who said it earlier? I mean, K-State's got a top 5 linebacker on the team right now in Austin Romaine. Austin Moore is in his year number 6. Des Purnell is the most athletic linebacker on the team. K-State's got some really good depth there as well. I feel like K-State's linebackers will be just fine. I'm going to call out the safeties. The safeties have been the issue this season. VJ Payne has been just fine. It's been the other two. The other two has missed tackles. They have gotten burned tremendously in a passing game. They've got to do better. They have got to do better, because the linebackers can't make every single play. But overall, I feel like K-State's linebackers in a defense will be okay as long as they can figure out a way to stop the running game. Specifically, Cam Scatterbook, as both of us said earlier, we expect him to play.
Yeah, I mean, the rush defense, you said it, Steve. K-State's making their living on defense this year, especially against this team right here. And right there, I mean, you got to look at it. Less than 100 yards of rush defense. I mean, it's very hard to get more than 100 yards against K-State on the ground. We're usually lights out when it comes to that. I think KU is probably the only team that was successful against us in the run game so far this year. But like you said, man, our secondary is a problem. We really have a tough time going against teams who have really good passing games. Luckily we went against Colorado when it was early in the season and they hadn't clicked yet. But
K-State had a lot of quarterback that couldn't throw a forward pass to go 11 of 11. That's a problem. That's a real problem.
Yeah, it's really tough. I mean, you and I clearly are having a hard time talking about this K-State team this week because, I mean, of the heartbreak that we went through 2 weeks ago. And we got to be realistic. I mean, we were riding high. We had a unfortunate game against BYU, but that's the team of destiny this year. And we were thinking, all right, we just grind out the season, get back to the championship game. Let's go against BYU in the championship game. Well, now that's kind of out the window. So now we just got to really just finish strong. Give our recruit commitments some confidence for coming to K-State. Don't drop any more silly games. And it all starts with this one here. And I think the defense, you said it before, like there's probably going to be some kids out there that are, maybe I can help out this team if I'm like thinking I'm a safety or a corner. Maybe I can help this team out by coming to K-State because they seem to be solid everywhere else. One of the things that we got to do, if Cam Scadaboo's playing, we got to be able to contain him. We're not going to be able to shut him down. I mean, he's just a player that you can't just straight up take out of the game. If he is playing, he's not going to be playing 100%. He'll be playing maybe around like 80 to 90 for him to get on the field. I'm assuming they're not going to put him out on the field if he's 60, 70%. They'll save him. But I have a lot of faith in our defense. I think we do a pretty damn good job on the field. So, and specifically against the rush, which is exactly what Arizona State likes to do. And if you think about it, both teams, now I would say the only difference is Avery Johnson is kind of a very unique player in that he is one of the fastest quarterbacks, if not the fastest quarterback in the Big 12. And so he can beat a lot of teams on his legs, which there's not a lot of quarterbacks out there that can give a good scouting for their defense to like get ready for Avery Johnson's speed. But in terms of their rush offense, like they have Cam Scadaboo in practice. So if you want to get a good look of what DJ is going to do on the field, you got a guy that looks just like DJ on your team, and vice versa for K-State. You want to figure out how Arizona is going to play? Well, play against DJ in practice, which they've been doing all year. That's pretty good practice against a team that's got basically the same sort of personnel in terms of how they like to run the ball for their run game. Their pass game might be a little bit different, but I would just say both teams kind of have a feel for each other because they've got, that kind of player on them. So my eyes are kind of going to be looking at Dylan Edwards because he's a guy that could shake things up, run outside the tackles, do some jet sweeps and stuff like that. Maybe we might see him incorporated a little bit more. I don't know. But I definitely do think that K-State, when they come out, I've said this, I don't know how many weeks, Steve, it's been. They need to come out and they need to be dominant from the start. If you want to gain the confidence of your fan base back, you need to come out. If you're kicking off and they're starting with the ball, you need to 3 and out, get the ball, scoring drive. If you're starting with the ball, scoring drive, kick it off to them, 3 and out, get the ball back. It needs to be that dominant. Like I don't want this like we get the ball, it's 3 and out, we punt it, we let them come down all the way, we stop them, they get a field goal, then we get the ball, we get a couple first downs and we punt it, and then when we eventually, it's like halfway through the second quarter, maybe we get a touchdown. I don't want that. I want domination from the start. From the start, Steve.
I agree with what you're saying. I'm going to add in a few different things to that, though. I would like K-State to come out hot, get a couple 3 and outs, maybe a turnover or two, really get a nice lead early. So that way you really take away their run game, make them pass the ball. I mean, K-State is top 25 in sacks on defense. And I think K-State is really going to get after Sam Levitt, the quarterback. I mean, they're 94th in passing offense. I mean, they're not a great passing offense. They're really not. But, K-State's passing defense has made really bad quarterbacks look pretty good. So I can see why you'd be worried about that. I will say, if the team is going to drive down on K-State, make them work for it because they're 100th in the country in red zone offense. When they get inside the red zone, they either turn it over or they don't score, or they're settled for field goals. If K-State can maybe do a bend but don't break mentality later in the game, I would like to see them start off hot, but later in the game, shut them down inside the red zone, make them settle for field goals, or make them settle for 4th and 7 going for it. I think K-State will be okay, especially if that D-line can pin their ears back and try to get after the quarterback, because I feel like the D-line and the linebackers are really, honestly, probably the best part of K-State's team. Maybe the K-State running backs are in there as well, but man, the D-line and linebackers are nasty, and they definitely get after the quarterback, Kenny. I like this matchup from a D-line perspective, especially if K-State can get a lead early, dude.
Yeah, I mean, they've been pretty good all year. Let's be honest. I mean, the D line has been very, very solid. I think the only team that we really struggled against on the D line was probably KU, and that's just because Jalen Daniels is such an athlete. I would say that it's funny that the two teams in Kansas have extremely athletic quarterbacks in the sense of like they can do their legs. I mean, I know Shador is incredible at passing the ball. I mean, he's one of the best pocket passers I've ever seen in college football. But you know, as far as his legs go, he doesn't really do much. But you know, Avery Johnson and Daniels, I mean, in KU, they're both incredible at running and scrambling around the pocket and getting extra yards on their legs. And I'm not sure if I got to be honest with you. I love the storyline of Arizona State. I haven't watched a lot of their games like all the way through. It always seemed to be the case, like either they were playing right when K-State was playing, or they were playing a night game or something, or they were playing against a team that I wasn't interested in watching, and I just thought they were going to beat them. And I knew that Sam Leavitt was talented, but again, I don't know too much about how he is on the field. I just don't watch that close.
He's a dual threat guy, kind of like Avery Johnson is, but he would definitely rather sit in the pocket and throw it than run it. He's a pretty good quarterback. I mean, he has like 1,400 yards and 14 touchdowns, and he missed a game. I mean, Avery Johnson's got like 1,900 yards and 17 touchdowns, but he hasn't missed a single game. But I mean, I don't know. I think K-State's gonna be okay. I think K-State's gonna be okay.
He missed the game against Cincinnati, right?
He did.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that's kind of crazy if you think about it, because now, like, thinking about that, they could be 8-1 or 7-1, 8-1. They could be 8-1 right now if he didn't miss that game. That's crazy to think about.
Yeah, I mean, definitely could be. So, should we get into our score predictions and K-State hot takes for Arizona State?
Yeah,
K-State?
really, really fast, guys. If you are interested in partaking in the K-State hot takes, shoot us a donation. Just give us your money, okay? Just throw the money our way, and put in your hot take. We'll talk about your hot takes. Do it now, and then we'll get to your hot takes when we get to that point. But we're going to go into score predictions. And hey, if you want to give us a donation and throw in your score prediction, we'll do that too. We'll highlight that as well. But what I'm trying to say is, we would love for you to just give us your money, but help us buy. I'm about to go out to dinner right now with my family, and also I don't think we've even mentioned this, Steve. It's your birthday today. Steve, it's your birthday.
It is my birthday
today. Happy birthday to you.
I'm 37 years old today. I'm
happy birthday. We're gonna beat Cam Scattaboo.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, if you guys want to send us a super chat, that'd be amazing. That's the only way we can make any money right now, because we're not fully monetized. So please tell your friends, family members, anyone you know to subscribe so we can get to 1,000 subs, be fully monetized. Kenny,
tell your Republicans and your Democrats, tell them all,
and the moderates and everyone in between,
and the moderates and the liberals.
Let's get right into the K-State, Arizona State score predictions and hot takes. Let's take a look here. We have a graphic created by collegefootballinsiders.com. K-State basically has a 69% win percentage.
Nice.
Nice. K-State is essentially favored by 6.5 points here, according to the spread that they have on there. You want blue, specifically dark blue. When looking at this, you don't want red or dark red at all. The teams are pretty evenly matched. Typically, teams at home get 3 points. They have a projected score of essentially 32 to 25. Looking at all of that, Kenny, the only red that K-State really has is field position, honestly. But their rush offense is pretty good on offense and defense. Kenny, let's go to you first for your score prediction of K-State, Arizona State. K-State officially, according to sportsbooks, is favored by 9 points. Does K-State cover that? And what's your score?
K-State, I'm taking the over on the spread. Can I do like an asterisk to like? I think K-State will get the same amount of points, but can I put like a different score if Cam plays? Because I think it's unfortunate. We don't know if he's going to be playing or not. And even if he does play, I don't know if he plays every down. If he's playing every snap or not, because I know that they said that if he goes on the field, they want him to be at 100% or play to his full potential, but I don't know if that's going to be the case. I'm going to say that K-State gets 38. With Scattaboo, they get 28. Without Scattaboo, they get 21. Does that make sense?
And it does make sense because we're not sure if he's going to play. We do expect him to play. I think it's going to be a higher scoring game. I got K-State winning. I got K-State winning 34 to 31. I think 9 points is too high. I really do. I mean, that's got to hit the over for points as well. We said it before, after K-State lost to Houston, there's no way that, we could pick them to win by a lot. Now, K-State usually does respond pretty well after losses. But if Scattaboo plays, I think K-State's going to win 34-31. If Scattaboo does not play, I think K-State wins 34 to 24. So, Kenny, let's go to you for the K-State hot takes. Let them know what it is, and then let's hear your hot takes.
Every week we got it. When K-State's playing, we got to give the hottest take. This is basically what we think is going to happen during the game. Just a little prediction. Something that would be fun to see. Your favorite player getting some kind of crazy stat or something like that. And my K-State offensive, we do offense and defensive, and sometimes we do a special teams. My offensive K-State hot take is Avery Johnson is going to get 3 rushing touchdowns. My defensive hot take is that Austin Romaine is going to get 4 sacks.
Oh my God. I freaking love that, dude. I freaking love that. Here's my hot takes. DJ Giddens has done nothing really at all for the last 3 games now. West Virginia, KU. I guess he had 100 yards and a touchdown against KU, but overall, compared to what he has done, the last time K-State lost, he went out and had 190 yards and a couple scores, 66-yard touchdown. I think he's going to have 175 rushing yards, at least 25 or more receiving yards. So I'm going to pick him to have 200 plus total yards and 3 total touchdowns. I think DJ Giddens is going to get right back on track in this game. Defensively, I think K-State's going to have 2 forced turnovers, 1 fumble, and 1 interception. And the interception is going to be by Marquise Siegel. He's been good and then not so good at times, but I think, his hands have gotten a lot better this year. They have. He's actually been able to catch some. So I think he's going to have an interception, and I think the fumble recovery is going to be by
Purnell.
Damian Leo, the defensive
Oh.
tackle. I know. I'm calling it right now. Fumble recovery, interception, 200 plus yards for DJ Giddens, 3 touchdowns.
J Motion. He says, and I don't know if this is actually what your voice sounds like, but he says, 4 sacks a game? That's wild. Well, I would say that it's not wild, it's hot. And that's the K-State hot takes for this week. Steve, I love your hot takes. DJ hasn't been able to get 200 yards this year, and
he's had 200 yards total in a game, but not 200 rushing yards.
200 rushing yards in a game. It hasn't happened. He's gotten close 3 times, and I'm just not seeing it. I'm not seeing it.
Well, we'll see what happens. I don't see the whole Avery Johnson thing for you either, so we'll see. We will see.
Yeah, my hot takes are usually pretty far-fetched. I'm a lot better at score predictions than I am with hot takes. I'll say that. I just try to make it like the most absurd hot take ever. Steve,
should we get into Big 12 picks?
The look around the Big 12.
Let's freaking do it. Look around the Big 12, like Kenny said. Some big games this weekend. Big games this weekend. Kicking things off here. Houston at Arizona. Late night kick. 9:15 p.m. Central Time. Arizona favored by 1. 45.5 over under. Man, I got to take the under on that because I don't think Arizona's offense is good. Houston's offense is not good at all either. I'm going to jump the gun here, and I'm going to go – I think Houston's better. I do. I mean, they beat K-State. They beaten Utah. They beaten TCU. They're like you said, they're ahead of schedule with Willie Fritz. So I'm going to pick Houston to win 23-17. Outright win as the underdog and under on the over-under. Kenny, what do you got?
Houston wins 24-7.
Ooh.
Arizona's offense is horrendous, dude. And if
it is,
there's no way against Houston's defense, which right now just like it is showing up and showing out. Houston is going to get its 4th win of the conference. Did anybody think that was going to happen? Did anybody have that on their bingo card? No, nobody had that on their bingo card. Houston is way ahead of schedule. Willie Fritz is the man. And Houston, you guys are you're going to be 4-3 at the end of this week. And Arizona, wow, what a bad coaching pick. Moving on, Steve, moving on.
Okay, we had this in our main podcast here. We just picked this. K-State at home, favored by 9, over under 50.5 versus Arizona State, 6:00, Bill Snyder Family Stadium. I have K-State winning 34-31 if Cam Scatterbo plays. He's a 1,000-yard rusher. Great player. If he does not play because he is questionable, I got K-State winning 34-24, covering. So, Kenny, what was your score again?
My score was 38-21.
Okay. So you think K-State's going to win big?
They have to.
And both of us have K-State hitting the over as well. Yeah, K-State, pair of 7-2 teams, man. I mean, this is what you want in November, man. Teams really starting to play each other and separate themselves. This is a big game. Every game is big. K-State's got to win this and win the next 2 and get some help to go to Arlington. Hopefully it happens. Oh, what was your hot takes again? I have DJ Giddens 200 plus yards overall, 3 touchdowns, and a defense getting 2 turnovers forced, 1 interception, and 1 fumble. What was yours again?
Oh, I had Avery Johnson running in 3 touchdowns, and I've got 4 sacks from Austin Romaine. I'll say 4 sacks. I'll split it up because that's pretty tough. 4 sacks to the linebacking core. So,
okay,
I'll split it up.
Cool. Sorry, I'm paying my my daughter's gymnastics coach. We've not paid one of the fees, I guess. Moving on here, we have Colorado versus Utah. This is a big noon kickoff for Fox. Colorado favored by 10, over under 47.5. I think you said Colorado is going to win this game big earlier this week, right?
Yes. After the disappointing loss and the flag heard around the world, Utah Utah
Oh,
is
dude.
not going to come into Colorado, Boulder, Colorado. They're not coming in with any juice at all. They're going to be completely distraught for this game, and it wouldn't surprise me if Utah is like distraught for the rest of the season. Their entire program is in shambles right now. Their athletic director might be getting fired. I mean, that's
They
all
might be getting kicked
speculation.
out of the Big 12, man.
They might even be getting kicked out of the Big 12. It's that is a train wreck, and quite the opposite is what's going on with Colorado. They are acting as if they're the best team, and they're playing like the best team in the Big 12. I mean, there's not a lot of people disputing that right now. A lot of people out there have Colorado in terms of power rankings. I know that they've got 2 losses and BYU's undefeated, but in terms of what they look like, the eye test, and how they're winning their games against their opponents, they're winning their against their opponents. They're 17 points of a difference in between their opponents, whereas BYU is less than 9 or something like that. So I have Colorado coming up big against Utah. It's probably going to be somewhere around like 51 to like 14.
No way. No way. No way. Utah's got a good defense, dude.
They're not going to be up for it.
They held BYU to 1 offensive touchdown, dude. I mean, they lost 10-7 earlier this year. They lost 17-14 versus Houston. They got a good they got a good defense, bro.
Context is everything, Steve. They were up for that game. It was in their home court or home field, home field. The fan base was firing away. They hadn't had a flag heard around the world like that. None of that happened yet. As soon as all that happened, Utah's defense fell to the ground, and they could have stopped BYU. They could have stopped them. They didn't. And all the stuff that's going on with their athletic, I mean, I guarantee you the entire team right now is going to sit there and act as if they deserve to win. They're going to be thinking about that loss for weeks to come. Look what happened with Baylor when they lost in overtime against Colorado. They were thinking about that win for weeks to go, and now Baylor is back on track and playing well again. Utah is not going to recover in time for this game. They just won't, dude. They're going to Colorado. They're going to be down on themselves. They're not going to show up. They're going to be like, we're out of we can't play for a bowl game. We're out of the conference championship. The only thing that they had to play for was the BYU game. They lost that. Their eyes are completely off of the season. They don't want to play anymore. They don't want to play anymore the rest of the season.
So this is not a trap game for Colorado?
No, not at all. Not at all. Colorado is going to run all over them. The game that they need to be worried about is KU.
Okay. I don't agree with them scoring 51 points. Obviously, I got Colorado winning this game. I got Colorado winning. I do think Utah's defense is good, but their offense is garbage. I don't even know who's going to play quarterback for them. No idea. No idea what to expect out of their offense. I don't think Colorado's defense is like anything amazing. I really don't.
Their D line is.
I think Colorado is going to win 31-17. Hitting the over by a half a point and covering as well. So, I mean, if you're a Colorado fan, you got to be liking what I'm saying here. You're hitting over, you're covering as well. Colorado is in the driver's seat along with BYU to go to Arlington. Like you said, the game they should be looking at is the KU game, because when looking at their schedule, I mean, they have Utah at home, at KU, and at Oklahoma State at home. I mean, they have, like you said in the last podcast, they have by far the best chance of anyone to win their last 3 games. The schedule makers were pretty nice to them when looking at, who they play. They barely play anyone in the top half of the league. They got pretty lucky there, but they're still a pretty good football team, and they've gotten a lot better. Hopefully, their players decide not to pick any fights with any ball boys this year or this game. If you know, you know.
Stir killer. Sanders gets hurt. Utah wins 10-9.
I assume he's talking about Shadur and not Shiloh, because I think if Shiloh didn't play, I think it'd be better for their defense, honestly. But yeah, I got Colorado winning 31-17, covering the spread, heading to over as well. I think they're a good team. I will be picking KU to beat Colorado next week.
Listen, Steve, if this was earlier in the season or it wasn't the game immediately right after the BYU loss and the way they lost, I might take your score a little bit more than mine. But because of where their season is at and what just happened last week, they're not coming into this game level-headed. They're not coming into this game with confidence. I guarantee you. And the confidence is quite literally tipped on the other scale for Colorado. They're playing with all the confidence in the world right now, and they're clicking offensively, defensively. They're turning it around. Dude, I respectfully disagree with 31 points. I think it's way too low. I mean, you could meet in the middle maybe, but we'll say maybe like 45, I guess. 50, 31, 45,
no
right?
way, dude.
40?
No way. I think Utah's defense is better than K-State's. And, I mean, they scored 28 against K-State. So
I hear what you're saying, Steve, but the defense is a part of the team that just lost they're too you're taking the human element out of this score prediction. I'm adding what literally just happened last week. It is going to be on their minds, dude.
I agree. I just think their defense is good. That's all I'm going to say. If you guys like what we're doing right here, make sure you guys like, subscribe, tell your friends. We are really close to 1,000 subs. We are trying to get there to be fully monetized. We're getting all the views and watch time. I mean, we have double the watch time needed. We were just lacking some subs. So please subscribe if you're a Big 12 fan, K-State fan, whatever team. Just go ahead and subscribe.
I just thought of something, Steve. Utah fans are acting like Democrats after the election.
Oh, man.
The meltdown.
Kenny is going political. Political Kenny.
The meltdown. Hey, I don't side for either or. I don't really care. But I'm just saying, like, it's just funny to watch the comparison of the meltdown.
There was some meltdowns happening for sure. Moving on. Baylor at West Virginia. Baylor favored by 2.5 in Morgantown. Are you kidding me? Over under 58.5. I think Baylor's good. I think West Virginia is good as well. This is a close game. If I was picking a spread, I would have had West Virginia -3 because they're the home team. I don't know, Kenny. What do you got here?
I think I'm going to take Baylor to win. I think Baylor's playing better now. I think West Virginia has done enough to keep Neil Brown around for another year. I know a lot of their fans probably don't think that's a good thing. But I don't know. I just think Baylor is just a better team right now. What time is this? 3:00? I do think Baylor's going to give a really good game. I don't think West Virginia. I'm going to be honest with the listeners. Okay. I don't watch that much Baylor. Okay. I don't watch Baylor that often.
I've seen him play a couple times.
I've caught a couple.
I've seen West Virginia more.
Maybe a quarter here and there. I've seen West Virginia a little bit more, mainly because we played against them. If I'm going to be honest with you, from the stuff I've seen from Baylor, I think they're going to be better. I don't know how they are on the ground. Are they more of a passing team, Steve, or are they more of a running team? I'm not really sure.
Baylor's definitely more of a passing team.
Then I have Baylor winning for sure because West Virginia's passing defense is not the greatest. Now I said that against Cincinnati, but Cincinnati, they made some mistakes at the end. Apparently there was a interception that happened late or whatever. Maybe I'm thinking of a different game, but Cincinnati made some boneheaded mistakes that cost them the game. But Baylor, I believe, they're doing. This is the game. This is another game. So Baylor played TCU. Was it last week or the week before? And that was the Save Your Coach bowl game. And this is Save Your Coach bowl game part 2.
It is.
With
it is.
Baylor versus West Virginia.
Baylor's gotten better this year. They really have.
Since the Colorado game, they let that loss linger on, but they have gotten better. That is without a doubt. I mean, they scored like 59 points against Texas Tech. Insane. And then they also beat TCU as well. I've got Baylor winning. We're going to go 35, West Virginia 33.
I like that score. I do. You did not have them covering a 2.5. I think Baylor's better. I think they've gotten better every week. Like you said, West Virginia's pass defense is god-awful. It is a home game for them, 3 o'clock. I got Baylor winning. I mean, I don't know who the quarterback is going to be for West Virginia. I don't. They had to rely on their defense getting some turnovers last week that, kind of fluky. Honestly, against Cincinnati, they probably should have lost that game, but they won. So shout out to them. I got Baylor winning 34-21. Double digits.
All right.
So moving on. This is a make it or break it game for Iowa State. This is a must win. This is a must win game for Iowa State. Favored by 9 at home against Cincinnati, a team they should beat. But Iowa State is not playing good right now. They're not playing good at all. They've lost 2 consecutive games. They should have lost 3 in a row. They just got smoked by KU. That was 2-6 going into that game. Kenny, I don't know what to make of this game, man. I don't. What do you got here?
I think Iowa State wins. Hold on one second. Go ahead. I'm going to type this in.
All right. I'm going to go Iowa State wins. I think they're going to try to get their swagger back in this game. I got them winning 31-21, covering the spread, but not hitting the over-under.
Here's some stats for you, Steve. Iowa State is ranked 15th in the conference when against the rush offense.
Okay.
They have allowed, I think it's on average 150 yards or something like that per game on the ground, or 170, I think. A lot of rushing yards are allowed against Iowa State. Cincinnati, not really a running team.
They're decent.
They're decent, but that's not where they make their living.
No.
Iowa State, very good on the pass defense. So this is where I have Iowa State beating Cincinnati, and they're in Ames. They're going to want to stop the bleeding here. They're going to need to stop the bleeding here. Like you said, this is a make or break game for them.
Must win. It's a must win.
It's a must win to stay in the race. The Cincinnati running back is nice. He is nice.
He is nice.
But it's the people around him that aren't allowing him to really do anything. Their offensive line,
they're throwing it too much. They are. They need to utilize the quarterback run game more. Do some more option game. Be more creative. RPOs. Yeah.
They're not creative at all.
No.
And people, I think, have really dialed them in. I think that whatever they had working for them early on was working early on, but now there's too much film out there now. And just like K-State, they're sort of, they're an enemy to themselves because they had the same system that was working for them. And they said, all right, we're just going to keep doing this until you figure out how to stop us. And people have figured it out how to stop us. I mean, I didn't think that West Virginia was going to beat a team like Cincinnati, and they did. So, and they did it on the road. And now Cincinnati, after that loss, has to go to Iowa State. That's a tough environment to play in. Steve and I will tell all you newcomers in the Big 12, Ames, Iowa is no joke. The saying goes, Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to mess with. Well, Ames, Iowa ain't nothing to mess with. All right. Well, we'll just say that that's a tough place to play. And so I've got Cincinnati. I've got Iowa State winning. They're going to it's going to be like 28-21. We'll go 28-21.
Iowa State winning.
Iowa State, 28-21.
Okay. I dig it. Last game in the Big 12 this weekend. I think you and I are actually on the same wavelength here. Maybe. KU needs to win this game to continue trying to be bowl eligible. BYU needs to win this game to, honestly, I think if they win this, they have to win 2 more to secure being in the Big 12 title game. But I feel like if they win this game, they're going to feel like, okay, no matter what, I mean, we just got to go 1-1 the rest of the way, and they're playing Houston at home. So this is a huge game. KU's playing so much better than they were earlier this season. They're finally playing like the team that everyone predicted them to be. Are you picking an upset here?
I think that KU has more to play for than BYU does at this point. KU is in a must-win situation every single week from here on out. And they put themselves in that position, make no excuses for KU. They put themselves in this spot where they have to win a must-win every single week. They're going to be up for this. It seems like they're finally clicking. Their offense is extremely, extremely dangerous because of how athletic Daniels is. He has finally knocked the rust off of his joints and his whatever it was that was wherever it was located on his body. It's off of him now. He is operating like a well-oiled machine. Okay, and that's exactly what he is. He's a well-oiled machine. But the thing is, BYU's defense is also elite. Keep in mind, Steve.
I agree.
What I said about Utah also applies to BYU. They also played a very emotional game last week. They've
not played well lately, man. They have not played well lately.
Let me tell you something, Steve. And yes, correct. They have not played. They've struggled against the worst teams in the power rankings right now. Not to compare teams because every team's different. Every week is different. Every team stacks against different teams differently. K-State beat KU on a very late game field goal to win the game. The week after that, they went down to Houston and lost against a team that everybody thought that they should beat. BYU wins a game on a game-winning field goal against their in-state rivals. Same situation, and they're going into this week thinking we're going to go against a team that's a bottom-of-the-barrel team that everybody thinks we should beat.
You're picking the upset.
It's not that much of an upset.
It's really not. I agree. I mean, it's only 3 points.
And so that's really what you get. And 3 points is what they give to the home team because it's the home team.
What do you got?
I got KU winning this game.
What's the score?
KU's going to win and finally deliver BYU's first loss. I say this and I'm gonna shoot myself in the foot, man.
Probably.
They're gonna deliver BYU's first loss. It's gonna be 35 to 28. 35 to 28.
I dig it. I don't see it happening this week. I think KU is going to lose, but then beat Colorado the next week. I'm already picking it out. I'm not picking BYU to lose this game. I'm going to pick BYU to win this game. And next week, I will say, calling it right now, BYU is losing at Arizona State. I'm just calling it right now. So here's my score for BYU KU. I got BYU winning 38-31. Wow. 38-31. I do. I think they're a good team. I think they're a better team. I know they just came off an emotional game. We did not make one for the last game. We felt like BYU did not deserve it, so we did not make one, specifically Kenny, because he called the upset. So back-to-back weeks, I am picking BYU, but I've already said I'm picking against them next week. Now, maybe this weekend's games will change my mind. I don't know. But as of right now, I'm picking BYU to beat KU
Man,
38-31.
BYU having to play back-to-back late night games.
They've been doing it all season. All season. And you
Yeah,
know what? You said it earlier, man. There's something about LES at night. There's something about BYU at night at home, dude. They just know how to win night home games. If they're going to lose, it's not going to be at home. So,
well, according to I forgot his name already.
Brett Hammer.
Yeah, Brett Hammer said that the games that they do lose at night are usually at home. He said in the streak of night games, like 9 o'clock, whatever games, he said they have a better record on the road at night than they do at home. So that's why he was nervous. But obviously they still have a good record. It's not like it's a bad record.
No.
He just says that like there's more losses. It's like we've won 35 games and lost 5 at home, but we've won 35 games away and lost 2. It's like It's not like it's that much of a difference. You know, it's like, oh, they've lost like 3 more times at home or something. But I just think KU, they have a lot more to play for. BYU, they just, again, I feel like you have to add the emotional context to every game, because we're human beings. We're not a game inside of like an Xbox, you know, like these players have emotions, and that and emotional exhaustion is a thing. And it's going to, like, they just spent all week preparing for the Holy War, and they managed to give everything they had after being down and almost out of the game. It took the game-winning field goal, then all the drama afterwards, and all, like, I'm sure that game is still on their minds, still on the players' minds, and they have to prepare for another team in like 5 days. 5 days from now, there's going to be another team coming in, and they're still thinking about that Utah game. I guarantee you they are.
Maybe.
I bet they're laying their head down on their little pillow at night, and they're just thinking about, man, I can't believe that happened. I can't believe. Now, Utah's
I can't wait for Breaking Dawn Part 2 video to come out.
Okay, if they win and they win big against KU, I'm going to say it now to everybody watching. If BYU comes out, I didn't make an apology for the Holy War because I picked Utah to win, and they almost did. It took literally the most controversial call of the year. That is like the flag heard around the world. It took that in order for them to win, get an opportunity. Let's be fair. The opportunity to go down and keep themselves alive in that drive to eventually get the field goal kick. But I will say that if they go out and they crush KU, I'll take my big slice of humble pie and I'll eat it with dignity, and I will make that apology, and the Breaking Dawn Part 2 video will come out that following Sunday. But yeah, those are the Big 12 score predictions, Steve,
for week 12.
Week 12.
Okay, I want to do one more thing really quickly, and then we got to get out of here because I do have to go.
Week 12 on the 12th. Steve.
Yeah.
It's destiny.
Big 12, week 12 on November 12th, my birthday. So really quickly, I want to pick one more thing, and then we got to go because I got to get out of here. K-State versus LSU Thursday at Bramlage Coliseum basketball game. K-State, there's no line out yet. According to ESPN, K-State has a 63% chance of winning. LSU's leading scorer, Cam Carter, former K-State player, 21 points per game, 52% from the field. Great player. K-State's leading scorer is Brendan Housen, 19.5 points per game, 60% goals. I'm going to jump the gun here. I got K-State winning 74-69. Kenny, what do you got?
Cam Carter. I understand he's a Louisiana kid, so I get it.
Way over 5 turnovers for Cam. Cam likes to turn the ball over, and we'll take it. We'll take it.
Yeah, Cam Carter. It's sad to see you go, but I understand you're back in your home state. I
totally get it. I understand why.
I wish you the best of luck.
Yes,
you're losing this game though, 74-71.
We both have K-State scoring 74 points. Yep.
Oh, I didn't even realize you picked
H4 legacy game on the way. Hopefully. Well, thank you all for watching. This was another fun episode of KSU Nation here. We're going to continue posting segments, continue doing lots of stuff for the Big 12 and K-State moving forward. Please, please, please make sure you guys tell all of your friends, coworkers, family members to subscribe to KSU Nation. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers. Kenny, there's just one last thing to say, bud.
Go Cats and go Big 12.
Damn it.